Okay, let's bring up here. So we're talking about factorizing algebraic expressions. So yesterday you expanded it, which is getting rid of the brackets, making sure you multiply the factor out the front of each term inside the brackets. And that gets rid of the brackets. Right? Today we're doing the opposite of expanding, is factorizing. And so in different situations you may need to organize the expression in such a way that you do want to factorize it. You want to put brackets in. So that's what factorizing is, when we insert brackets and bring a common factor out of the front. Now, we should know this, so I'll just go over it quickly. A factor is a number that goes into another number to produce a whole number. So, as in if you divide one number by another and you get a whole number as a result, that means that that number is a factor of the bigger number. So basically, 2 is a factor of 10, because 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. Okay? Whereas 3 is not a factor of 10, because when you divide 10 by 3, you get 3.33333. So that's what a factor is. So a factor of 10 is 1, 2, 5, and 10. Those are factors of 10, because whenever you divide 10 by any of those small numbers, you'll get a whole number as a result. And so algebraic terms can also have factors. Alright, so you can have something with variables like a or b or x or s, whatever the variable is, and you can have factors of that. So for example, you have this term 10GB. Okay? 10GB. So factors include, well, 2 goes into that because 10 you can divide by 2, 5 is a factor, 10 is a factor. But you also have 2G is a factor. Because when you divide 10G by 2G, the 10 divided by 2 is 5, and G divided by G cancels out and you get 1. So that's a factor. 2B is a factor, because there's a B in this expression. 5G, 5B, etc., etc. There's a whole lot of factors which include the algebraic terms, which have the variables in them. Okay? And so, that's the way that it works when we talk about factorizing. We're using the properties of factors and pulling them out to be able to organize algebraic expressions, factorize algebraic expressions. Okay? So I'll just move this up a little bit. Alright, so if we have a look, factorizing. When you remove brackets, we just said that, you don't really need to write this, but that's what we did yesterday. But when we take out common factors from terms in an expression and insert brackets, it is called factorizing. Okay? If you haven't written this already, you don't really need to write it. But when I say that, it's never bad to write it. As in, maybe not the most essential thing. So when factorizing, the goal is to find the highest common factor. Okay, that's called H, that's abbreviated as HCF. Highest common factor, okay, HCF, of the terms in the expression, and take that out to the front and rewrite the expression with brackets. Alright, so you're taking out the highest common factor from the two terms, putting it to the front, and then writing what's left of each term. We're going to have a look at examples. Yes, Charles? Okay. So we're going to have to do a few examples, and we're first going to find some highest common factors of two terms, and then we're going to go through and try to factorize a few expressions. Okay, Robin? Alright, so if you come back to this, and I go up here. Now, find the highest common factor of these pairs of terms. Now we're going to find the highest common factor. So the first one, you've got 4 and 8. What's the highest common factor? What's the highest number that goes into 4 and 8? 4. Because 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So the answer is 4 for this one. Now, if we have 3x and x, what's the highest common factor? Well, 1 is a common factor, but it's not the highest common factor. Well, 3 doesn't go into x. X. Because x goes into 3x. 3x divided by x is just 3. And x divided by x is 1. They cancel each other out. So the highest common factor for this one is x. The next one is 5x squared and 10x. 5x squared and 10x. What's the highest common factor? So we can start off by thinking, what are some common factors? 5. Yeah, 5x is the highest common factor. 5 goes into both because 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. X goes into both. But the highest common factor is actually both of those together, 5x. Right? So that's the way that we can see that that's the highest common factor, 5x. Yes, Steve? Okay? So that is the way that we find the highest common factor. So when you're factorizing expressions, that's the first step we need to take. Identify the highest common factor, and then do the next step as well. So we're going to have a look at these. We're going to have a look at these. And then... So we're going to go through. Now, let's have a look at the first one here. 5x plus 5. Our goal is to factorize it. So what is the highest common factor between 5x and 5? 5x and 5. What's the highest common factor? 5. So we can rewrite this expression like this. We say 5... So we can do like this. 5 times x plus 5 times 1. Okay, that's our first step that we say, well, we're identifying that each of these factors, each of these terms has a factor of 5. Now, what we can do next is because both of them have a common factor of 5, we bring the 5 to the front. Okay, so we bring out the 5, we insert brackets, and then in each of the terms, you write in what's left of the terms. So this one, we're taking the 5 out, so what's left is x. So we put x in here, and if we take out the 5 from this one, what's left is 1. So it becomes x plus 1 inside the brackets. And so that's it factorized. 5 bracket x plus 1. So that's what we end up with. You take out, you identify the common factor, you can write this step and write each term as a multiple with 5, and then you put it at the front and insert brackets. Okay? That's the step. Maybe. Okay. Okay, next thing. 14xy minus 7y. What's the highest common factor? 7 is a common factor. 7y is the highest common factor because both of the terms have y in them, and then 7 goes into 14 and 7 goes into 7. So we can rewrite it as this equals 7y. To get back to 14xy, you have to multiply 7y by 2x. Okay? And then you say minus 7y times 1. Now the next step is we bring the 7y out the front and write in the brackets what's left. So we do 7y. In this term, if you take the 7y out, what's left? 2x. So you write 2x. And then you write minus. If you take the 7y out, what's left? 1 minus 1. And so that's our factorize. You fully factorize it. 7y 2x minus 1 is the expression. Because 7y times 2x, 7 times 2 is 14, and then you have xy. So 14xy, we get back to that. Alright, so it's important. You can always re-expand this to check whether you've done it correctly. You check by expanding out the brackets again, and you get back to the original, it means you factorized it correctly. Alright? So the next one, we have here, yeah, 5 times x plus 5 times 1. Alright, next one. What's the highest common factor of minus 3a minus 9? Yeah, negative 3 goes into both of them. So minus 3, in a sense, is the highest common factor. So we can rewrite it like this. Minus 3 times a minus 3 times a. Oh, sorry, that's 3. That's 3. Sorry. Okay? Now, if we take out the minus 3 and put it at the front, what's left in our first term? A, just A. Right? And then if I take out the minus 3, what's left for my second term? 3. 3. Is it going to be a positive or a negative 3? Positive 3. Because positive times a negative is a negative, so it's going to be plus 3. Minus 3a plus 3. So the way that we do this example. So if you take it step by step and then re-expand and think it through, it's actually a very straightforward process. Okay? You're able to identify the highest common factor, and if you don't get the highest common factor straight away, that's also fine. For example, this one, if we had taken the 7 out first, we would have seen down here that, oh, you can actually also take out the y. So maybe that you do a couple of steps, but that's okay. Get used to the process, take your time. So we're going to do one last example. We've got minus 6x squared minus 3xy. What is the highest common factor? Yeah, because they're both negative, so we can take out a negative 3x. So we're going to get minus 3x times 2x to get back to 6x squared minus, so I'm going to write it like this, plus minus 3x times y. Alright, so if we bring out the minus 3x, sorry, if we bring out the minus 3x, what's left of our first term? Open that. 2x we've got left in the first term. And then if we take out the minus 3x in the second term, what do we have left? Just y. Just y. Okay, so it's positive y. So that's it, fully factorized. So as we finish, remember that to check whether you've factorized correctly, you can always expand at the end to see whether you get back to the original. Alright, so if I do this process, and then I expand this, okay, 3 times 2 is, well, minus 3 times 2 is minus 6, x times x is x squared, that's correct. Minus 3xy, okay, that's correct. So you can always re-expand to check your answers. Okay? So we're going to have a go at the exercise, take your time with it, make sure you concentrate.